Hello, bonjour, Alberta. Did you know that at least 238,000 people speak Français in Alberta? And those numbers just keep on growing? Oui, oui, c'est vrai, it's true. And thanks to Shaw TV Community Access Programming, we get to reach out to everyone to let you know all about special people, places, events, and activities happening right here in this great province, in both English and en français. That's right, mes amis. We begin the first part of our program in English, and then we repeat it en français. So stay with us. Restez à l'écoute.
Hello, bonjour, Alberta. I'm your host, Mark Lalonde. Our program is the only bilingual television interview show of its kind in Canada. We've been producing it here in Calgary since 2012, thanks to Shaw TV's Community Access Programming. Every once in a while, I get to introduce to you a real character, someone who it's hard to believe even exists, and this is one of those times. I'm very pleased to have with me Claude Blanchard.
Hi.
Who is a chef, a sculptor,
cabinet maker.
A cabinet maker. We'll find out all kinds of things about him. We have some of his art, but welcome, Claude.
Hi.
Before we get started with the art, let's find out about you. Where were you born? What was your childhood like? How did you eventually come about to live in this area?
Well, born in Montreal in '65. I was raised by mom and dad. We moved in Mascouche, and father died. I was 16. Have 4 kids. That's what brought me here, because there wasn't any job in Quebec left for them. I had work, always working, so I had to find a way for them to work, and there was a lot of work out here in 2013. I believe there was a flood before we got here.
Yeah, or just before?
Just before I got here.
Okay, so July.
Yeah, my son, my oldest, got here a few months before the flood, and that's what made us change. We sold everything except what could fit in the 16 feet cube van that we bought to come here.
Oh, wow.
So we made 6 people in one van.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we use a plane too for the kids.
So
Easier.
You were telling me a little story about your childhood. At one point, apparently, you had to change schools?
Yeah, at the 2nd grade, I was in English school. That's why I still speak English. I was transferred to French school because I carved my desk, so I stopped carving desks. I didn't know which kind of school I would end up with.
So you were saying that you've actually never had to take any kind of classes or anything in carving, and you were doing it since grade 2 or before.
But speaking in public, that I could have lost my grade. In high school, I was asked to speak in public, and it was, well, give me an F, I'm not going there.
You're not doing it.
No, I would have failed my year completely before speaking in front of people.
Well, it's good. It's a good thing you don't need to speak in public now.
Yeah,
it's just you and me.
No, but I did speak in public. I gave course on how to carve.
Oh, really?
In Loblaws, yeah, carve vegetable and
things like that.
And stuff like that. Yeah.
All right. So, but being a sculptor is not how you make your living.
No,
What have you done to make a living over all that time period?
Over that time, one morning at 19, my brother woke me up and told me, "Hey, you're a cook. Come." So I was making breakfast at Vimont in Laval, doing short order breakfast cook in a hotel.
Just like that?
Yeah, just like that. So he quit his job and he put me there. Here, you're breakfast cook. So I cooked for 30 some years. I have 30 years experience. I was chef. I was a big hotel in Quebec, Grey Rocks. I was in a restaurant. I worked for 22 years for a catering business. So a little bit of experience. I did culinary art exhibit shows and contests. Won a few medals. Ice carving contests. Won a few trophies.
All that sort of thing. But that was on your off hours. That's not
that
wasn't
off
your
hour.
job.
On my job, Before I start cooking the morning, I start carving my vegetable.
Carving your vegetables.
Yeah.
So I don't know if our viewers noticed, but this little pot of flowers is not a pot of flowers at all. This is made entirely from vegetables. Can you tell us what this is?
This is a rutabaga, a beet, a radish. This is a leek, another piece of rutabaga. That's a turnip. And these are carrots. And I have the green onions too.
Yeah. So I can actually smell the onions sitting here.
It's the only way to give
fantastic? Yeah. So you start doing that before you start cooking?
Well, in the morning when my prep was start by doing my vegetable, so I would have time to cook and have something to show at least. Have nice plate, have something. It was
so
always
makes a little extra for the people who come.
It wasn't as elaborated when I started.
Oh, okay.
One day a guy gave me a book and he said, "Look at that. No, lend me a book." He said, "Look at that. When you can do something like that, you're gonna be good." 2 weeks after, I showed him picture. Everything and more than what was in his book was in that picture.
Wow, wow. And
said,
you just made this afternoon?
Yeah, I knew. I was at work this afternoon. I had a phone call. "Claude, you're going to pass on Hello, Bonjour, Alberta. Are you wanting to pass tonight?" I said, "Tonight?" "Well, I'm not ready. I want to get some vegetable, do something, at least, have something to show. Because I don't have too much stuff to show."
Yeah, right.
So, well, when you look at them as much as I did, you see the imperfection in it. You don't see the thing.
Okay. Well, let's look at some of your other stuff. That walking stick, I guess.
This is my baby.
That is amazing. Yeah. So tell us about it a little bit. How long ago did you make that?
That was done 17 years ago.
17 years ago, and that's a piece of what?
It's a piece of cedar. It's grown on the mountainside, eastern Quebec. It was beaten by a river in spring. I know it was a mountain piece because it grew sideways.
Ah, okay. So that was coming up from the root,
so it had to be going from a side hill.
And you've got it carved specifically for your hand?
Yeah, I have my handprint in it.
And when you're walking in the mountains near Calgary and you run into wildlife, they see that and they must run away.
Well, I know that when I go to a place like a powwow or something like that, usually it takes half an hour to go around. I take around 3 hours. I always stop.
Everybody wants to see it.
Everybody wants to know where to get one like this.
And you've won prizes from First Nations organizations for some of your art, have you?
Not First Nation organization. I have First Nation letters that I have a Sioux letter that says that they saw one Cherokee with one of my walking stick, and they took 2 years to find me just to send me a letter that they saw my walking stick in a powwow down south.
Somebody cared.
Yeah.
That is pretty, and that was like 17 years ago.
Yeah, but that wasn't the walking stick they saw.
Oh, it was a different one.
No, yeah, different one. And I sent him one, that guy who sent me a letter, and he sent me arrowhead carved by his great-grandfather, Sitting Bull.
Oh, wow.
And
okay,
sand
so
from
you've made
tomb.
several of these then.
Oh, I made maybe 100 of those, all different.
How long does it take you to make one of those?
Some of them take 2 hours, some of them then take 2 weeks.
Oh, okay, quite a while. Well, let's look at some of the other things that you've brought along to show us. This piece is rather striking. What can you tell us about this?
This piece is, Antler is, I think it's elk. I'm not sure in English if it's elk. This is moose, antler. It was in a competition in Val-David, Quebec. I won first prize.
It's amazingly complex. All of those individual leaves, and of course the animals.
Yeah, and you go with a little bit that's around the size of a needle head to carve that.
So that took more than a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's like a dentist's tool there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dremel. I use that, and yeah, it's like.
So do you work from a written design, or is that in your head, or does it come out of the piece?
It's come out from the piece. It's never
as you're
drawn.
going.
Yeah, I I sometimes draw something like when I have to, I draw it and then I carve it.
You were saying you've actually done work copying masterpieces or copying
I've been
antique
antique reproduction. Reproduction is not copy because copy have to be copyright, and since it's reproduction from antique is more than 100 years old, there's no more copyright, so it's reproduction.
Oh, right, okay.
Term.
So you do that with furniture and sculptures also?
Sculpture, I didn't really reproduce sculpture, but I did the door of a fridge that flower basket, just like that one.
Okay.
But it's around like on a sub-zero, so it's around that big and that high. Took around 37 hours to do, just the
right in the door.
In the door. Well, the door is a panel, a wood panel that you put on.
And yeah. Oh wow! And so you carved all of that.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Okay. What else? What else do we have here?
Okay. That walrus tooth there.
Which one?
Yeah, that one, the big one there.
This is a walrus.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll pick
it's a walrus tooth.
I won't pick it up by the tooth.
Soapstone. It comes from the Great West, the Great North, and the guy that brought me the tooth, he bring me 2 teeth. One's for him, one's for me. These are old tooth that come from, I think it's Baffin Bay, I'm not sure. And the guy, he goes there 6 months a year, come back and bring some stuff, and he trades with them, and he teach them knife making. And I make several knife handle for him, carve antler. But these are pieces. This is the second one. The other one was a bit bigger than that and had 3 times more design and more animal than that. I had the first 4-inch. I had a flock of Canadian geese.
Oh yes.
All around the first 4-inch, and inside was a canoe hunter in there.
Wow. So was it thicker also?
Yeah, it was a bit thicker and longer. It was around 22-inch long.
And so the fellow who gave you the teeth has that one, does he?
Yeah.
I see.
And he brought it to Toronto to have it evaluated, and they told him, well, you've been cheated. It was made in China. And the guy said, crazy. The closest it went for China is in a Chinese restaurant.
So obviously that fellow made a mistake on that one. Definitely.
Big mistake, yeah.
Okay, so you like to work in bone and soapstone?
I don't have preference on which material.
Oh,
it's
really?
which one that comes to me. I have a piece of jade at home that I'm working on. So stone, I have soapstone carving. My boss of the catering business in Quebec asked me to do a carving for the wedding of his nephew. So I did a little Inuit lady with a baby in her back. And I went, brought it to him, sold him, I'm very happy. So go back there in the next week, still on his desk. He said, I cannot send him that. I bought him something else. I'm keeping that one. It's my collection.
I want to keep it for myself.
Yeah.
Yes, and you've done stuff like that for other businesses.
That was when I was a chef at La Dauphinoise in Quebec.
Yes.
And I did their sign out there, and then I did this one for myself and to put in the restaurant while I was working there.
Oh, okay, and now it's a memento of that. Yeah. So it's a reproduction of the sign that was outdoors. Or similar?
Not exactly, no. It's because the lady that owned the restaurant came from the Dauphin in France. Dauphin is where the kings of France come from. That's why they call the Dauphin.
The Dauphin, yeah.
So the Dauphinoise, and we serve as potato. We always serve Dauphinoise potato there.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm sure everyone found this as interesting as I did, Claude Blanchard.
Thank you.
Thanks to our team here at Shaw, and thank you for watching. Stay with us. On continue en français.